Hi, and this will be my video response for Class 8. And just diving right into the material I want to cover in this video response is, first off, began the lecture discussing about cognition bias. And I really want to take the most of the time of this response discussing about this because I find it such an interesting and humanly unique idea that really does govern society today. And so, for me, when I think of cognition bias, is the first thing that kind of does come to my mind is racism, and how a lot of people have stereotypes, and they'll inflict those stereotypes just essentially how people look. And now, kind of backtracking to thinking of why inherently humans, it's in our nature to have cognition bias, and it's very hard to beat. Everyone that has it. And I feel like people are lying to you if they say, oh, I don't have a cognition bias. But to me, in my opinion, it originates with evolution, and how if an individual does something to you bad, whether be it bad or good, you will be essentially predisposed to think of them in that way in the future. And this is a beneficial evolutionary trait for many reasons. Let's say, for instance, if someone who is very tall gives you a lot of food or shows you how to make fire back in the old days, you're going to associate this person with bringing good stuff to the table. And now that is why I think how it essentially started on evolutionary perspective, and it's still engraved in our minds today. And for me, it really plays a role in job interviews and picking an applicant, because there's always someone that you resonate more with, and you might not be the smartest candidate, but this is persona and character. You believe him to be the best fit, and in my opinion, a lot of times that is swayed by cognition bias. And this does happen to me a lot. I would run interviews biannually for the consulting club I am in, and while I run into these interviews, the first few, I'd run into a lot to this bias, choosing candidates based on their characteristics, social characteristics, if I like them more. And what I really did to overcome this was to read their resume thoroughly before they would come in order to not have a predisposed thought of them just based on their physical characteristics. And while they're talking, to really have the idea of cognition bias in my mind so I can really actively think of to beat it and not judge the person for the wrong things, essentially, and come in with an open mind. And this concludes my response for this class.